Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And now blink your eyes naturally, not thinking too much about the mechanics of the blink. And now blink your eye a little more slowly. It takes 3 to 5 seconds to just do one blink. Take your time with it. Notice all the muscles that need to be activated. And now take the slowest blink you've ever taken in your life. Going slower than a snail, slower than a sloth, until your eyelids gently meet. And when they meet, gently lift them apart, nice and slow, till you're looking through a sliver. And over time, nice and slowly, you will come back to fully opened eyes. Now make a tight fist with your right hand, and take the next 30 seconds to open that fist ever so slowly. Bring awareness to your wrist, to the back of your hand, to the inside of your palm, to every knuckle in your finger, to the tips of your fingers. If your hand shakes, just let it shake. Take your time as you open your hand, so slowly, so gently. Notice which finger is in the greatest rush. Notice which finger is the most patient. Begin by straightening the knuckles closest to your palm, then your second knuckle, and finally that knuckle closest to your fingernails. Keep that movement going until your hand is spread apart. And keep stretching it, creating distance between each finger, and relax your hand. Notice now how slow and easeful that has made your movements. All your unconscious movements, from your breath to the movement of your eyes. And notice how it's even slowed down your thoughts to move your body this slowly. Breathe into this relaxation, this tranquility. Thank you for doing that peaceful little exercise with me. If that felt good to you in any type of way, I got a story you're gonna wanna hear. If you think this last full moon was crazy for you, just strap in, because this is a cautionary tale. But I'm just gonna skip straight to the moral of the story, which is go slowly. There is no grace in haste. There is absolutely no merit to speed just for the sake of speed. And if you're telling yourself, yeah, you're right, probably heard that before, on some level you probably understand it, but I guarantee you probably at certain moments find yourself acting in a way contrary to that truth, just as I have. And I promise this story I'm about to tell is going to make this message sink in a new way, like it never has before. Peace and love, y'all. Welcome to another moment of stillness. My name is Itai Atula, the traveling yoga teacher, and I've just spent the last year solo traveling all around Asia, studying yoga under masters I never could have dreamed of meeting, and now I'm on No Place Like Home, Europe's biggest yoga tour. Teaching yoga in over 20 of the continent's biggest cities, delivering free sessions to the people who need yoga most. I just arrived to Ljubljana after a beautiful 4-night stay in Vienna, Austria. What a glorious city it was. I taught 2 amazing yoga classes there. And for pretty much all 4 of the nights that I was in Vienna, the moon was full in the sky. Not a cloud obscuring it, just a bright lunar glow. Not only casting a bright light upon the whole city, but it was also pulling up on everyone's energy, much like it pulls on the tides of the ocean. And quick little bit of yoga philosophy for y'all. We are not meant to practice yoga on the full moon, because energies are so high that everyone becomes more sensitive, everything becomes more intense. I'll put it this way. As I said a moment ago, we all know from science class that the moon is what determines the tides of the ocean. The water levels rise and fall based on the position of the water in relation to the moon. Now, in case you forgot, our bodies are basically 75% water. So you better believe that that full moon has some kind of effect on our physiology as well. Ask any police officer, there's an inevitable increase in emergency calls every single full moon. I mean, I was biking around Vienna, I saw at least 3 car accidents. I don't know if that's a usual thing for Vienna, but it felt high by my standards. The people I talked to were more animated, either in their joy or in their grief. Any emotion was just amplified by the condition of the moon. And the water in my body was no exception, let me tell you. Right after teaching my first yoga class in Vienna, I went to swim in the river that runs through the city. It was a beautiful day. Everybody was out in the sun, swimming laps across the river, floating on their back, tanning in the sun. I jumped in that water, was swimming around, and immediately stepped on a sharp rock. Felt a bit of a sting on my foot. It wasn't very painful, but I took a look at my foot by pulling it out of the water, and I saw a lot of blood. And I said, oh, well, this is not good. I hobbled on out of the pool, sat on the dry dock, and held my foot in my hands, just kind of looking at the blood. Like, this is interesting. Didn't expect this. Keep in mind, before that, I had not bled in like a year. Last time I had bled, summer 2024, when I fell off a motorbike in Bali. And maybe I got the occasional cut from my razor here and there, nothing crazy. But my foot was bleeding, it was gushing. I thought, gotta be more careful next time. The connection with the full moon didn't even register to me at that time. Thankfully, as I was staring at my toe, wondering what I should do, I got the attention of a beautiful angel named Sophia. She came over, and at first she wanted to say, by the way, you look really familiar. Do you make videos about breathwork and stuff? And I said, well, yes, I do. Then she caught a glimpse of my foot, and she said, oh no, do you need help? And I said, well, yes, but I'm not sure what I should do. In my head, I was like, I could go to urgent care. I could just run to the pharmacy and patch myself up, or I could just sit here meditating on the gush of blood waiting for it to stop. As I was having this thought process, Sophia said to me, you know, you're very calm right now. And it was funny because the moment before I got cut, I was not calm. I was moving at a million miles an hour, but I was sobered by the reality that my actions have consequences. And so, yes, I was calm. I wasn't panicking because I took it as a reminder from God. Slow down. And just wait, y'all. This isn't even the end of the story. That was my first warning, and I should have learned at that point. But at least in that moment after getting cut, I had the sober clarity to slow down, to not panic, to understand that every piece of information is data from the divine. And it's our responsibility as humans, as angels on earth, to interpret that data and act accordingly. So I said, okay, time for me to slow down. I had a bunch of plans for the evening, plans to go to a yoga class, plans to watch a movie, plans to meet my friends. Instead, with Sophia's help, I hopped on a scooter, rode myself to a little apothecary, got some antiseptic cream, got some gauze, got some medical tape, and I wrapped my little big toe up. It was still bleeding a lot. It still kind of hurt to walk on. So at that point, I just went back to the hotel, sat with my foot up, and let the day pass. And immediately I was like, yo, well, thank you, God, for giving me a reason to just stay inside. Because while I'm traveling, I feel this great push and pull between, should I go out and explore and meet people and hug trees and frolic? Or should I be inside, be meditating, be writing in my journal, be recording transmissions like this one? That push and pull is ever present. So I thought, this injury is the perfect reason to just have an inside day. I'll just rest up until this heals so that it can get better as quickly as possible, and I don't have to prolong the process. Already my head started spinning with all the possibilities of what I could get done with this newfound free time. Notice how I was already trying to fill the free time with different activities. I felt my speed increasing once again. And right on cue, my thoughts started going to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And my brain was speeding up so much more. What I should have done was close my eyes and meditated and realized that this wasn't an excuse to check more things off my productivity list. But the full moon energy was rising up in me, and I felt so much creative power, so much potential energy waiting to be switched to kinetic. That night I went to sleep dreaming of how I'd spend the next day. So excited for all my plans that I would carry out from home, from the comfort of my bed with my foot up. So the next morning I got up, I was doing my morning yoga, a little breath work, a little meditation, a little stretching, a little prayer, a little journaling. And my tour manager, Charity, who's sharing a room with me, says, hey, Itai, can I borrow your nail clipper? And I said, absolutely, you can borrow my nail clipper. Everybody got to clip their nails, right? So enthusiastically, I asked her, yo, hand me that toiletry bag, I'll grab it for you. She handed it to me without thinking. Just moving off the pure inertia, the pure excitement of everything I was to accomplish over the course of the day. I reached my hand into my toiletry bag, and my razor that I used for shaving my face absolutely destroyed my finger. And once again, for the second time in 24 hours, after not bleeding for a year, I was gushing blood out of my right pointer finger. This is no coincidence. Right big toe, right pinky finger, in the same 24 hours. A little more yoga philosophy. What symbolizes the right side? The masculine, the active, the fiery, the external. In fact, the right pointer finger, which represents the air element of the masculine side, is always very active for me. I'm an Aquarius air sign under astrology. I'm a predominantly Vata dosha under Ayurveda. What that means is I be floating around a lot. My air element is always very active and has been especially active here on this tour, where I've been teaching classes in every city, balancing that with recording these transmissions, with doing exploration of my own, with doing my personal practice. It's a lot going on. My energy was definitely scattered in a bunch of different directions. Like I was playing laser tag in the dark, not knowing where the other team was, just firing wherever. All laser beams pointing outward away from me. None of them looking inside. None of them doing introspection. Even the sadhana, the personal yoga practice that I was doing, was just a way to prepare myself for this service that I've been doing. And under this full moon, I had to confront just how frazzled my energy really was, just how scattered my focus was. Because when that strong energy of the full moon enhances what's already going on, and it's not matched with an intense personal focus, I'm bound to hurt myself. Once again, it's no coincidence. I started bleeding out of my right pointer finger for a reason. I still can't fully walk on my right foot for a reason. The universe was demanding for me to seek balance. And if you've ever attended one of my yoga classes, you know my favorite phrase is listen to your body whisper so you don't have to hear it scream. Now, I've been getting messages from my body, from a higher power, to slow down, to stop giving so much before taking care of myself. But because I was so excited about the service I was doing, I definitely ignored my body's whispers. And so my body screamed as loud as it could. It said, slow down now. And it's not my first run-in with a big scream like this from my body. There's a story I always tell about how I quit marijuana after being a stoner for 3 years straight, smoking several times a day, from the time I was 18 till the time I was 21. Now, mind you, I'm 23 now. I've been sober for about 2 years, but sobriety did not come so easily for me. I started getting into yoga and meditation while I was still smoking, and I wasn't actually able to quit for a long time because I still really enjoyed it. I knew it was bad for me, but I was scared for what life would be like without it. I knew I was using it to push down a lot of emotions, to satiate myself in moments that I should have fixed my circumstance, stood up for myself. And so I was scared for what would come up once I quit the plant. Anyway, the last time I ever smoked, I was in my house, meditating with my eyes closed, high out of my mind, when I was visited by a green apparition, which I've since learned appears in pagan folklore from the British Isles as the Green Man. This big green monster roared in my face like a wild animal, and something happened to me that's never happened to me before or since, where I felt like I was slapped in the face and I was shaken awake. I was kicked out of meditation, like the bouncer at a club might drag a belligerent drunkard out of the premises. I got kicked out, and the message I received from that green monster was, for far too long, you have been defiling this sacred practice of meditation with the hedonistic spoils of substances. You're done. Next time you meditate, it better be sober. And I quit marijuana a day later. And this incident with accidentally cutting myself twice in 24 hours feels like the same sort of thing. The universe is telling me, stop what you're doing. What kind of teacher are you? If you're going so fast that you're not even remembering why you're doing this, that you're not even taking time for yourself to go deeper into your own practice. Yes, of course, karma yoga is a thing, and you can get to the state of yoga by helping others, by doing acts of selfless service, but also a Kriya Yogi, which means that I get immense benefits from going inward, from meditation, from breathwork, from asana or stretching. And I've found that the more I teach, the less I do of that. And now I understand the severity of that. I can only be a good teacher if I use my lessons as field notes, discussing findings from my own personal exploration. I don't know your body any better than you know your body. The best I can do is try this cool thing that worked for me. For that reason, my connection with myself, my relationship with myself, must be the strongest relationship in my life. Stronger than that with my students, stronger than that with my creative collaborators, because it all comes back to the tiny signals that my body sends me. And so in the past few days, I've responded to this message I got from the universe of slow down now. I've gone from probably 10 minutes of meditation every day for the past few months to now doing 1 hour of meditation every day. And I'm enjoying it so much. I never fell out of love with it, but I just got distracted. And I'm so happy to remind myself that being in a still seat with my eyes closed is my favorite place in the world. I will never get bored of that state. I can go back there every day and never want to leave. That is my home. That's why I've called this tour No Place Like Om, because my aim is to teach people who do not have these tools that no matter where you are in the world, no matter what's going on around you, you can always find solace, find shelter in your body and mind. That we can make these places friendly places to be. I had just been entertaining guests in my crib for so long that I forgot to tidy up. I was inviting people to sit down on my couch with sauce stains, offering people food on dishes that weren't washed, and letting people lay their head on pillowcases that weren't clean. Hopefully you're following the metaphor here, because the physical space you're in, whether it's your bedroom or your living room or your car or your skin, it does reflect the state of your internal world. And the cleaner your internal world is, the more tidy your surroundings will be. And the main reason I fell in love with yoga is because it taught me how to enjoy spending time with myself, how to be my own best friend, how to spend endless hours with my eyes closed on my mat, and it never got old. And like I said, I never fell out of love with that, but I fell in love with the act of sharing it, with showing other people you can have this too. And I guess I got so caught up baking cakes, cutting them up into slices, sharing those slices with the people around me, I forgot to enjoy my cake too. I guess I've accidentally stumbled into an idiom there. Can I have my own cake and eat it too? I believe the balance is possible. Maybe not the entire cake, but I don't want the entire cake. There's no selfishness here. Same time, I don't want to starve. There's no needless suffering here. There's no needless deprivation here. I'm now starting to see my personal practice as what it should be, as a way of cultivating energy, so that half I can keep for myself and half I can give to the world. That 50-50 of introversion and extroversion, of sun and moon, of hot and cold, that is the act of yoga. That is where we get the phrase Hatha Yoga from, the balance of the Ida Nadi and the Pingala Nadi, which represents the duality of the human anatomy in yoga. And I'm so thankful that the universe sent me this message that finally reached me. As I said, it's a reminder that every observation is divine information. Everything happens for a reason. From the sounds you're hearing around you right now to the outfit you put on this morning, there are no coincidences in this divine equation. Much like a palm reader could look at my hand and tell me completely accurate things about my life, I know because I was cut on my right big toe and my right pointer finger exactly what the lesson in that injury was. It was slow down. It was stop giving so much to the outside world when you're depriving yourself. It was, you can only give as much love to others as you already are giving to yourself. And beyond that, like Uncle Ben said in Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. I've taken on something very ambitious with this tour, with my whole mission to translate ancient yoga wisdom into modern tools for transformation. And I have no regrets about that. In fact, we're only getting started. I dream of a world where everybody practices yoga. Because what a beautiful world would that be? Not in a dogmatic way like you have to follow these rules. Yoga just means connection with something outside yourself. And everybody deserves that in whatever way they find it. I strive to be the messenger that impacts as many people as possible with that message. But I will not get where I want to go if my energy is scattered, if my power is not focused. And this injury that was a result of my scattered energy has reminded me to have the focus of a tiny, precise laser beam. So I'm no longer that dude at laser tag who's panic shooting anywhere just hoping he'll land on something good. I am the sniper at laser tag now. Looking through my scope, firing with one shot, casting one beam, exactly where it's meant to be, like a beacon up towards the heavens. Please let me know in the comments. How do you feel when you move slowly? What is the difference to you between moving slowly and moving hastily? And have you ever had any experiences where you learned firsthand through a message from the universe that there is no grace in haste? I love you so much. I hope this message hit you at the right time. I hope it prompts you to walk a little bit more slowly through the rest of your day. I hope it inspires you to fall back in love with yourself, not with the spoils of the world. I hope it helps you find balance between what you give to yourself and what you give to the people you love. This has been a moment of stillness, no place like Om edition. I'm so proud of you. I want you to know you're on the right path. You just take care of putting one foot in front of the other, and the universe will lay out the beautiful yellow brick road for you. I love you. You're so talented. You're so beautiful. You're so wise. You're so full of love. Thank you for being a friend. I'll catch you next time. Peace and love.